So my wife's boss gave us a bag full of rhubarb from his garden, and he asked me to make something savory with this. Okay. Rhubarb is kind of an interesting vegetable because it can be made sweet, but it is also very tart. Luckily, he was able to harvest these before they had gone bad, and he actually cleaned them for me, so that was kind of nice of him. But we're just going to go ahead and process these just a little bit. Now, to get a good vibe of what you actually need for rhubarb, I'm going to use Culinary Artistry, open up to rhubarb, and it gives you a bunch of ideas of what you can actually use to make rhubarb taste nice. Go ahead and trim off the ends of it, and we're going to cut these into about 1/4 inch rounds. Nothing too crazy for this, but it looks really pretty on the inside. Normally rhubarb does have a little bit more color to this, but it'll just mean that this is a little bit more tart than what you're normally going to get with like ripened rhubarb. Now we have all of our rhubarb chopped up and placed into our bowl. The next thing we're going to do is add in some fresh strawberries. Yes, rhubarbs, strawberries, rhubarb pie, strawberry rhubarb pie. You can't go wrong with this. Can we stop this, Paul? You're gonna knock something over. See? Now go ahead and trim off the ends of your strawberry after, of course, we give one just a little bit of a taste. These are starting to come into season where I am, so they actually do taste really nice right now. Trim up all of your strawberries into halves or quarter-sized pieces. It's not going to matter too much. You just want to open up the flesh, so that way when we add our sugar, we can actually have some of that sugar hit all of the parts of the strawberry and the rhubarb. For this, we're going to be using about a 1/4 cup of sugar. I know it looks like more, but we're actually just going to use a 1/4 cup worth of sugar for this. Get this all tossed up and nice and ready to mingle. The reason why you want to do this is because it actually extracts some of the liquid. Now we're going to actually grate a little bit of fresh ginger. You don't have to include ginger in this, but the ginger does elevate the spiciness and the freshness of flavors of the strawberry and the rhubarb. It just works really, really nicely together. Chop up just a little bit of that stub to make it flat, and then we're going to grate the rest of it. Make sure you get the rest of that good off the back of the grater because that's where it likes to hide when you grate ginger or garlic. That's all you're really going to need. It's about 1 tablespoon worth of grated ginger. Now, of course, we're also going to need a little bit of acid in the form of 1 lemon. Cut that and let it aside for now. After about 10-15 minutes, we're going to add in all of our rhubarb and our strawberry to whatever size pot you have. It just needs a little bit of room to breathe. Add in your lemon juice and make sure you strain out all the seeds because we don't want to fight seeds later. I know we're going to strain this, but it's just good practice to get all those seeds out of there. And when I mean all of them, you get all of them. Give this a good shake, and we're going to bring this over to the stove. We're going to bring this up to a very light simmer over a very low medium heat to let it all just juice out. We're also going to get a couple more things ready for this dish, and for that we're going to use some enoki mushrooms and a little bit of sweet corn. Yes, we are going with a theme here, things that are going to be available in the summertime, late spring, things that you would really want with this dish. Go ahead and shuck all of the corn off of the cob, and you can save the cob for stock. That works really nicely as well. Place all of your corn into a bowl and just set that aside for now. I'm also using these really beautiful white enoki mushrooms. You can use whatever mushrooms you like, but these are really, really nice with this dish because they're super tender. Place those in a bowl and just set them aside. A while ago, I used to work at this restaurant called the Red Marlin in San Diego, and I was put in charge of making a scallop dish that reflected the spring and summertime. I'm going to try to use rhubarb to make a savory dish. This is where this plays out. We're going to make a strawberry rhubarb sauce, but since I can't find scallops, we're going to be using chicken, or you can use something like a seared tofu, which is really neutral as well. But if you guys have shrimp or scallops, I implore you, use those. It will be amazing. But all I got is chicken because, you know. Now after about 10 minutes or so over that low medium heat, your strawberries and your rhubarbs will start to actually break down. The thing is that the strawberries will break down before the rhubarb does. So you're essentially going to be stewing your rhubarb in strawberry juice. This is why this works so well together. Once it's nice and tender, you can puree this up in a blender or with a stick blender. I'm using a stick blender for this, and yes, I didn't record the little bit of footage before this, but it's fine. You're just going to blend this once the rhubarb is nice and tender. Then we're going to go ahead and add in all of our grated fresh ginger and only bring this to a very low simmer or even just turn it off. You want to just steep the ginger. You don't want to cook it too hard. This is going to create a more delicate flavor with the ginger and create more of that spiciness that you're really looking for. After about 10 minutes, this thing is ready to go, but we do need to strain it. The reason why we're straining it is because rhubarb is incredibly fibrous and there are all of those little seeds in the strawberry and Paul, chill out. Don't knock it over. Now, the better way of doing this is to use a wider mesh strainer like a china cap and then go with a fine mesh strainer. but since I only have a fine mesh strainer, I'm going to be using this, and it does take me about 10 to 15 minutes, which I'm not going to show all of that to you. But once you do strain all of this, you have this really beautiful puree. It's glossy, it's gorgeous, it's smooth, it's good job. Now we're going to go ahead and put this into an ice bath to cool it down, because I do want to use this sooner rather than later. Otherwise, you can let it cool down to room temp and then just pop it in the fridge for later, because once it's cooled down, it's going to taste so much better. Now for the protein, I am using chicken breast for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and peel off some of the excess fat, and then we're going to season this with a little bit of salt and pepper. You want it to have a really clean taste behind it. If you add too many spices to this, it will overpower the strawberry rhubarb. Grab your favorite cast iron pan or saute pan. Over a medium heat, we're going to go ahead and sear off these chicken breasts on one side. Once these are nice and seared on the one side, we're going to go ahead and flip them, and then we're going to go ahead and steam this with a little bit of water. Or you could pop these in an oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. After 10 to 15 minutes of steaming your chicken over that medium heat, I do want to probe the chicken just to make sure it's ready to go. This wasn't quite up to temp yet, so I added a little bit more water and brought the heat back up to continue steaming it. Let the camera keep rolling because I didn't know what I was doing and didn't realize it was still on. And after that 5 or 6 minutes and all that liquid has evaporated, our chicken temped to 160, so we're going to go ahead and let that rest, and it'll carry over to 165. Now we're going to saute up all of our mushrooms. You do want to keep this on a super high heat to get some nice color on the mushrooms, and only season this with black pepper first. Once you have some color on your mushrooms, we're going to add in all of our beautiful corn. I ended up shucking one additional thing of corn just so that way my wife and I would both have a significant amount. Add in a touch more oil to get some more crispiness on the corn and on the mushrooms, and saute this up until you have some nice color on that corn. You want to be careful not to char it because it can char very easily. Once you have that color established, we're going to go ahead and add in about a 1/4 cup worth of heavy cream. The heavy cream is going to allow us to create that beautiful creamed corn with mushrooms. Once your cream is in there, now you can season it with salt. Give this a good stir, and we're going to cook this until the heavy cream is more or less evaporated and it has thickened your beautiful mushroom cream corn. Give this a taste and make sure it's seasoned how you like it. This was really nice, but it just needed a little bit more black pepper, so we went ahead and hit it with that, and it's good. Now to actually do your plate up, what we want to do is take your chicken breast and slice this on a little bit of a bias so you have these beautiful little rounds. This piece, no good, eat it. Now we're going to take your favorite white plate, and it looks better on a white plate, trust me. Take some of your beautiful strawberry rhubarb puree and place it directly into the center and gently space it out. You don't want to put in too much because it will end up getting pushed towards the edge. Now dollop on some of your cream corn and mushrooms. I'm using about half of what we made. And make sure it's just a little cleaned up. You know, I kind of messed up the plating here, but we went ahead and fixed it with a little bit more sauce. Once you have that done, take about half of your chicken breast and place this alongside your cream corn and mushrooms. Garnish it with a little bit of green onions or parsley or just something green on there. And there it is, your beautiful roasted chicken with cream corn and mushrooms and strawberry rhubarb sauce. Now that one was for the wife, so we got to plate up our own. So for this variation, I'm using a bit of a flat plate. Dollop a little bit of your sauce in the corner and smear this out, just that beautiful little smear. Add in just a little bit of your cream corn and mushrooms, not to overwhelm it. Then take some of the jus from the pan and place that down where you're going to put your chicken. Take your half a chicken breast and place this down over the jus, leaned up against the mushroom and the cream corn, and dress this with just a little bit more jus. Space it out so it looks pretty even. Hit this with your green onions, and there it is, your second plate of your roasted chicken with strawberry rhubarb sauce and cream corn with mushroom. And there it is, guys. A little bit of fun with some rhubarb and some strawberries. Now, again, you could do realistically whatever you want with that sauce because it isn't overly sweet. It's actually more tart than anything else, so it complements quite a bit of things. I will say one of my favorite things to do with that is to make just a really nice drink, like use it with vodka or lemon if you're of age. You know, make yourself a nice cocktail or a really nice lemonade as well. That it makes a killer lemonade. But we're gonna try this with our seared / steamed chicken with the cream corn. The cream corn, the reason why you should plate it like this if you make this is because you want the rhubarb with the corn and the mushrooms, and then get yourself a bite of the chicken as well. It's very reminiscent of like cranberry sauce with Thanksgiving dinner. That's kind of the vibe that you get because it is still really tart, but not overly sweet. Just really easy to eat. Throw some potatoes on it, have yourself a full dinner. I'm good with this. What's your favorite way of having rhubarb? By far still rhubarb pie. I mean, you can't go wrong. My name is Chef PK. I hope I taught you something today. Get subscribed and remember, keep playing with your food.
I think we won this challenge. I think you'll be happy with what we did with this rhubarb. Another one.
So line what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go. It's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the